For 4 decades, Cardiovascular Institute of the South and Terrebonne General Health System have partnered to deliver a legacy of cardiovascular innovation. We lead the state in advanced programs and complex procedures that you won't find anywhere else. Our specialized treatments for peripheral vascular disease, artery and vein disease, heart valve and structure conditions, arrhythmias, and more attract patients from around the world. Together, we deliver the cardiovascular care that you deserve. Visit tgncis.com to learn more.
Hello, and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. And I got to tell you, it's a whole lot of fun to be able to sit up here sometimes and realize that we get to do things that maybe not everybody else gets to do. So I've been very excited to be able to have an anchor with me today. And so I'll reintroduce our anchor for the day, Miss Micaiah Jackson. Thank you again for being here.
I'm super excited to be here.
So very cool. I love the story of how you got to be here. So let's tell that story about how you became the anchor of the day, and then we'll let people know a little bit more about you.
Well, I'm a part of KU Tri-Parish United, and we had a silent auction. We had a fundraiser event for a soiree at the Ellendale Country Club, and this is one of the silent auction gifts, and well, prizes, excuse me.
Right.
And I had no idea I was getting it, but me, my energy, everybody knows that this is something that Micaiah wants to do. And I actually was hosting the event at the Ellendale Country Club. So once I found out I won it, I was like, what? So that was super exciting. And I'm just so excited to be here to finally kind of be living out a dream. You think about some things and you're like, now it's really happening. So I'm super excited.
So for a lot of people, Micaiah, they'll go places or they'll go to a sporting event and they know where they are and they look and look and look. I want to see myself. Like, you're not only just, you were the host of that event, and now you're the anchor on a television show, which is just really cool. So it's not just I'm on TV, you're an anchor on TV, which is just really, really cool. So thank you for being the anchor for the day. More importantly, you hold a very important position here in our community. Let's let people get to know you a little bit and what you do.
Well, known as Micaiah Jackson, I'm often known as Miss Jackson. I'm a teacher here in the community. I teach at Ellendale Memorial High School. I've been there for 6 years. I love it so much. Love the community. I have the best boss ever. Like, Dr. Marquita Grant is the best principal ever. But I'm a teacher here in the community. I feel like my passion and my overall goal is to educate and inspire the youth, to kind of just pour love and light into them, to tell them, like, hey, like, you don't have to be where you're from. You don't have to be a product of your environment. You have a brain. Let's use it. I teach biology too, and psychology. So I kind of get to dive deeper into the aspects of the mental, of everything into one. I love biology so much. I'm a really dope person. I feel like my aura and my energy is one of none. And I feel like that's what makes me me. Like,
well, it certainly makes you a teacher that people want to learn from. It certainly makes you a teacher that people want to be around.
And I just got Teacher of the Month, too, right before we left.
Well,
I got Teacher of the Month.
Teacher of the Month. You're right before the break. And so 10th, 11th, and 12th graders.
10th, 11th, and 12th graders.
So people always think about that as a challenge. Tell me how exciting that is to teach those 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
I feel like that's the perfect age. I feel like for me, that's the perfect age for them to start receiving information that they can use in their life. 10th grade, you think you know it all, but you still got some learning to do. 11th grade, you feel like, well, I got my life together. 12th grade, you feel like, I know how life is going to be. No. Those ages, they mean a lot to me because those kids, they're so open for one to receiving information, but they also can begin to apply it to their lives. So me, it's deeper than science lessons. It's deeper than psychology lessons. It's really about how can I inspire you to be a better person. I tell them each day, if you can be anything, be kind to people. Of course, we want leap scores and all of this stuff to go up, as it does. But I also feel like these kids are with us for so many hours of the day, and sometimes their escape is the schoolhouse. So if you're in my care and in my presence, I got to make that experience the best, always, each day. Like, they know if you walk into Miss Jackson class, it's an experience every single time, whether we dissect in the heart, whether we dissect in the eyeball, or we just learning about the nucleus. Like, I'm always going to relate it to one real life and to show you how you can apply this in real life, because biology is the study of life. So I kind of like to just flow everything into one, because everything is everything.
It's connected. I like it. It's really interesting. I think by nature, 10th grade, we start seeing that transition, college, junior high. high school itself, we start to see a little bit more of that maturity. 10th grade, I'm no longer it's not about playing as much anymore in that transition. 11th grade, I think people start thinking about, where am I going?
Yeah.
Where's my future? 12th grade is like, oh my gosh, it's here.
This is about to happen.
Yeah, I'm about to graduate. I'm about to finish these. I'm going to be out of these schools I'm going to be out of this school. I'll be done for a little bit. So I think very often those are very interesting ages. And you talked about learning and what that learning opportunity is. Tell us what you learned a little bit today. Tell us about what this experience was like.
This experience, I've seen the ins and the outs, how things can change so fast, how you have to pivot really quickly. You have to think on your feet, how sometimes, somebody may talk about something, but it needs to gear into another area. So you kind of have to just pivot with the questions. It's very interesting just to see the ins and the outs, the workings, the start, the ends, the timing of everything. I didn't realize how much timing goes into everything as well. But I've learned a lot. I've been taking little mental notes. Martin, I'm taking mental notes.
All right. Martin, she's on it.
I'm on it, Martin.
Yeah,
but it's been very fun. You're so awesome, too. You have a very good energy, for sure.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, part of being kind, it's really interesting. Ellen DeGeneres used to finish every one of her shows and say, be kind to one another. Something that kind of stuck with me, that when we engage people and we welcome people, we talk to people, we need to make them feel like they're important, because they are. And when we finish, we need to remind each other to be kind. I love the fact that you're instilling that in so many of your students, because as much as you say it, it sinks in.
Yeah.
They're hearing that, right? Do you see a transition in the kindness where you are there at Ellender?
Yes, they'll know, if something's going on in the 400 hall, that's the science hall.
Okay.
And I hear some craziness Ms. Jackson said if you could be anything, be kind to people, it costs nothing, because you never know what people are going through. You can be somebody's last breaking point, and I tell those kids each day, you don't know what happened to little Johnny 10 minutes before he got onto that school bus. I have kids that take care of their siblings each day, and it's a lot on them, plus trying to deal with just life. You got your life at home, you got life at school, you got people who may not like
homework.
You got your homework, you got to make sure you're eating. You got to make sure the food in the cafeteria cooked the right way. Sometimes, So I just feel like just being a nice person is free. You can change somebody's whole trajectory of their day. I know sometimes when I walk into a room, my whole entire, the aura can just light it up. So being nice is free.
Well, thank you for lighting it up. Thank you for lighting up our studio. Thank you for coming in to be our anchor of the day. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, guys, that will do it for this particular segment and this Bayou Time. But don't go anywhere. A whole lot more right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.